Okay, so hello Marta, thank you so much for joining us and being here with us today. You have a very interesting project of translating music into images using artificial intelligence. So I want to know how did this come up and what inspired you to mix art, technology, and well, that.
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you very much for having me here. And I speak really in behalf of my department. Well, for us, it's something actually very natural because we've done it always. We've always mixed technology and made them understand that art is part of technology. Mm-hmm. One of the, just a quick example, when we teach them linear perspective, we usually introduce the subject with, on one hand, a painting of the Renaissance with a very clear linear perspective, and in the other hand, a child with Google specs, and I make them understand that at that time, Renaissance painting, when they introduced, and then later on the camera oscura, was really virtual reality. So you don't have art without technology, you don't have technology without art. It's really one same thing. I think artists have always appropriated themselves of new technology or have in fact created technology to better express their needs,
Yeah, so that is very interesting. I want to know a little bit more about the creative process that it took to create these images. What was the role that AI played? How did the departments of visual arts or music intertwined to create those images?
Well, we have a fantastic music school that we started, I think it was 2018 if I'm not correct, or 17. Almost, over 200 students, very, very talented. And for us, music is vital. It's a vital part of us. It's a very abstract form of the arts. It transforms you, it takes you places. And we can't work in isolation. We have to connect in the arts. Okay, very much part of, again, in the art department, what's important to us is to try and make those connections, those cognitive connections. And so the project started with the idea of, really, we live in such a visual world, we need to activate other sensory elements. And so what about sound? What about music? So we asked some of our students, were playing some wonderful pieces of our talented students. So we played those pieces to our fourth year NYP 5-year students. We asked them to close their eyes and to really think of what these pieces evoked in them. Or could they even think, if there were a film director or something like that, could they think of a scene that would, the scene would fit the piece of music. Usually we think of it the other way round, but again, let's think out of the box. Let's think of a film or a scene that would fit this piece of music, and then write a prompt. So I would, music is not static, it's continuously in motion. So we would stop at certain moments and get them to write a prompt and see what would come out, and ask them, is that what you had in your mind? Do you think you could improve it? How could you add to this? So again, we were trying to break down barriers, make connection between the arts, and making students realize AI is just another instrument for our creative process, and to embrace it as just part of our creative process.
Yeah. And do you remember any moment, special moment specifically that came up as you were working with the students creating those images?
I think the special moment came when we, per piece, I had a Padlet ready, and I asked, okay, for this piece, everybody, upload your images. And that was a really special moment, to see the diversity, of images, which again, we're talking about diversity of thought and creativity, and how unique we all are, and how we all have it in us to be creative, because that's another positive thing about artificial intelligence, which we do use as formative. It does allow students who perhaps drawing is more difficult. It's a way, a more approachable way, a more accessible way of still expressing images and thoughts and ideas they have in their minds.
Yeah. And following that, you were saying, do you think like it really impacted like the use of AI and like this creative process, it really impacted like the artistic sensibility of students, and how did you see it applied to their personal lives? Or
I think it really did, because I think unfortunately students are starting to fall into the trap, oh yeah, I use ChatGPT to help me do my homework. I copy and paste, or I don't read this. And it's very important to say, well, hang on a minute. You know, AI is there to go further than that, to go much further than that. There's a lot of talking about how AI is going to either kill the arts or take away your job. No. I think what's going to make you not have a job in the future is, one, not know how to use the AI, and even further, if you really want to excel, is how you use the AI in a different way, in a creative way. You know, take it a step further. That's what's going to make the difference in the future.
yeah, well, that is very interesting. And did you discover, you yourself, did you discover anything personally regarding the use of like AI and like the connection between music and images? Did you have like the same experience as your students, and you found things within yourself or within the process of creation?
Well, I think with the AI, the bank of imagery that they have is so vast that what we also played around is, what about if you use that prompt and you just change one aspect? You get something really quite different, you know, and maybe the aspect was make it the same proposition, but ask it to change style. Maybe it's in a romantic style, or you look at it from a, you know, Renaissance, or turn it into a pop art style, you know, that image. Sometimes we made, you know, we used a history of art and the different art movements to get a particular style, but other times it was just a subtle change of word or how you changed the context, and you'd get something very different. So what made me realize is the vastness of the results, and how in fact it's not an easy job to really get what you really want. That really does require mastership, and that is what we need to train them, so that we don't become slaves of the AI, but we actually become masters of the AI.
Okay.
You know?
And lastly, do you think that there is, how is this AI thing going to evolve in like the artistic process? Do you have any prospects for the future? Or?
Well, I think, as I said, we always use it in terms of formative and get them to use it in a different way. I think another aspect that we could, if we were to get the same formative task, we could evolve with the language department. I mean, I think they would have a very important part to play, you know, because right now it's language, really. It's the way we communicate at the moment with the AI to ask us about things. So I think that would be an important element to introduce, would be the language department. And then, of course, we were just playing with static images. I think our next part is to use video and you know, movement in images. But again, in the art department, we're open. We never use something in isolation. We would probably use it in a mixed way. We might ask them to, you know, draw something first and then introduce it into the AI and get the AI to turn it into something else, or to try and do the context for it. So it's, again, it's just another tool for us, and getting the students to use it in a natural way combined with more analogical aspects.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what do you want students to remember from like this experience of using AI in like the artistic department?
Well, I want them to remember that AI is there as a tool to expand their minds, not as a tool to not get them to think, which is sometimes a fear that we have teach, especially because I'm also in diploma and we're getting a lot of extended essays, a lot of written work, and you know straight away that it's not the student doing it. But to actually see it as an instrument that can elevate you that can make you break barriers where you didn't have the tools, but you have all these ideas in your head, but you don't have the tools then to express them. Here's a tool, but the ideas are yours. And the only way to keep those ideas alive is by thinking, is by working, you know?
Yeah.
So that's what I hope they take with them.
Okay, so it was really interesting everything that you said. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your ideas on it. Thank you.
Thank you for giving me this time and this space. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.